All right, so now we have almost all the CRUD operations. We can certainly retrieve all the websites filtered. We can create new ones. We can remove them. Let's work on being able to update them, right? So to do that, let's add maybe a cog here, right? That if I click on that cog, it'll go fetch the information for that particular website. It'll display it in a edit page. I'm not going to navigate to a different edit page. I'll just reuse this one page. Okay, since I already have a form here, I will update that form with data from the server. Right, we'll change it and click on update. All right, so let's do that. First, we'll add a cog for us to go fetch that information from the client. So let's add another link here that fetches the website. So this might be, so this is select website maybe, okay? And instead of a remove, we'll add a cog. Okay, there's a cog, all right? And when I select that, let's go to when I click on that, on the component, I'm going to handle that event, right? And I'll receive the website ID string, and we're going to delegate that to a service. We're going to say fetch me. We're going to find website for user. No, not all the websites, only one website. So find me a website for by ID. So I'm going to give you the ID of the website. I want you to go fetch it for me. Right? Do we know the user ID? Probably not, but I'm going to pass it along just in case. So find the website by ID. And this is going to retrieve for me that one website, hopefully. And I'm going to populate a local variable website which doesn't yet exist. Actually, probably we're just going to update the name for the website. Just keep it simple. Just a website name, and it'll just be the name of the website that comes back from the server. Make sense? If you want to update more content, maybe dates and number and visits and descriptions and whatnot, you would have one of those for each. All right, great. So let's implement this on the website service, on the client. We'll right here, website ID. This will take as argument a user ID, which I don't believe I need, and website ID string. And the URL will be very, very similar to the deletes. So I'm just going to copy this from the deletes. But instead of a delete, it'll be a get, meaning I want to read the information for this particular website, given this ID. Right? Okay, so I'm providing the ID for the website that I want, and it's just going to respond, presumably, with that one website object. Yes, with the name and the ID. All right. So let's see. If I click on this, and let me restart. I don't think I restart server. So if I click on the cog, notice that it goes and tries and fetch that. Right? It generates the get, but it comes back saying there's 404. There's nobody on the server listening for this URL pattern. Right? So let's go back to the server. Let's go back to the server side. And let's generate a get that looks very, very similar to a delete, but it's a get. And the URL ends with a website ID. And this is going to be find website by ID. Oops. Implemented in a function of the same name, request and response. We're going to extract both username and ID, but I don't believe I need the user ID. I'm going to go iterate over the array of websites. Probably that could be a function. Let's see, this could be a function. Get website by ID. So website ID is a function that iterates. If it finds it, it returns that one object. Returns website ID. How's that? Okay, now we can use that utility function here. We can just say response JSON, send back the get website by ID. I'm going to pass in as argument the website ID. Yes? Right? Okay. Let's refresh this. Let's see if this works now. Let's refresh. I get my original Facebook. If I click on this, notice that indeed it updates my form, right? Or one or the other. Notice that it's always fetching it from the server, right? Notice that this might be a little bit chatty, that I need to go fetch it, even though I already have that. I already went to fetch it once, right? So Angular allows you to create caches, right? That keep track, that use the URL as a key, right? So that if it sees that you already use that URL to go out to the server, right? It caches the data that came back from the server and uses a URL as a key. Meaning if I already have that in the cache, I'm not going to go back to the server and fetch it because I already have it in memory. Instead, I'll return a cache. We'll talk about caches a little later. Right now, it's going out to the server for every single object, right? Every single query. All right, so we have we went to fetch the data and we displayed it here. And now I would like to be able to have like a button that would allow me to maybe change this, right? And click on update. Go back and change this on the server, right? So let's do that. Let's add another button on the template. That might allow me to update this. Let's add another button down here. And this will be update website. And right now I'm only updating the name of the website, but certainly it could be an entire object. So this would be update, and I'll change the color. And instead of primary, I'll use success. And it's success update website. There it is. Success, the color of money. Okay, so let's grab that and implement it in the component. So update website, and I'm going to pass in the website, the name of the website, name. Now it might be that we're not just changing the name. We might be changing the description. We might be changing the author, the title, whatever. We might be changing a lot of things, right? So we're going to encapsulate all that data in a new object, in a new website object. So this might be const new website. This might be new website. It's the same ID as before. Do we store it anywhere? Website, select website. We don't have a website object. We should have a website object. Website object that keeps track of everything, right? So website, and probably this should be something like we store it here. Website like that. And then if we want to just do the website name, it could be just this dot website, this dot website dot name. So anyway, so from here we can keep track of that website and keep the same ID, but a new name. The name changes, okay, and then we can use the service to change, right, to update the website. Update the website. So this might be update website. We'll pass in the user ID. We'll pass in the new website object, right? That has this new website object right here. We'll pass that in, okay, and hopefully what comes back is the all the websites, so that I can update my list of websites down below. websites, and one of those websites will have the name changed. Okay, hopefully. All right, so let's go onto the service and let's implement this on the client and implement it right here. It takes as argument the ID of the user as a string, and a completely new website object. We'll create a URL. The URL will look very similar, right? We need the website ID, which is inside of the website object, underscore ID, meaning we're updating that one instance, right, of a website object, right? And we're going to do a put. We're going to do a put. Again, following RESTful convention. Get for read, delete for removal, post for creation, and put for update. Okay? Again, it's only a convention. And hopefully what comes back is a put, and then I need the new data, new website. I'm going to pass the new data. That might include just the new name, a new description, a new title, a new everything, right? That I might have edited on the client side. So let's try this out. If I refresh and I try to select that and change it, if I click on update, right, notice that it went out to the server and says, hey, with the options, and asking, what can I do? And the server says, you can delete, you can get, you can, but when we try to put, right, it comes back saying, no, there is no put on the server, right? There's nobody listening for an incoming put. So we need to go to the server and listen for that incoming put. Okay, so let's copy one of these, and we're going to be listening for a put that has exactly the same URL pattern, and this will be for update website, okay, which is going to be implemented in a function of the same name, right? We want to look up for that website. When we find it, okay, we need the website ID. Let's parse the username, user ID, and website ID, both of them. Okay, and when we find it, let's iterate over all the websites. Let's iterate over all the websites. And when we find it, we don't want to splice. Oops. We don't want to splice. Instead, what we want to do is, when we find it, the new website is actually going to be in the body. So the new website is going to be in the body of the request. Right? Notice that when we sent it over, notice that part of the body that we sent includes the new data, right? The new name, see that? That includes the new name, everything, right? But there was nobody on the other end to catch this request, right? But now there is. Now somebody is listening at put at that URL, and is being handled by this function here. And when it finds it, what it's going to do is that it's going to take the entire body that came from the client, which includes the ID, includes the name, a new description, a new everything. And for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to replace that entire object that was already in the array. I'm going to replace it with the object that came from the client and was parsed out from the body. I'm going to do a complete replace, right? Which might not be the most effective. Later on, we will see next week in the database. The database is a little smarter. The database keeps track of what changed and what didn't change, right? And it keeps a flag on what fields are dirty and what fields are pristine, that haven't been touched, right? And it will only change the fields that were changed, right? It'll leave the fields that were untouched, untouched. Okay? Right. For now, we're just doing a whole complete replace, and then we're fetching the new websites and returning all the websites. All right, let's restart the server. Let's refresh. Okay, let's try editing this. Facebook. 1, 2, 3. Click on update, and it deleted it. What? Oh, I removed the developer ID, right? Because Facebook never had a developer ID, right? The original one. Oh, well, no, it had to. It had to. Oh, you know what happened? When we created it, when we did this new website here, right? We copied over the ID, the name, but there's no copy of the developer ID. So we lost that, right? We lost that. Do we have in the website? Do we have? We don't even have it to keep track of it here. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, I'm not going to use create a new constructor, so I'm going to copy over also the developer ID. Developer ID is equal to this website. It is in the website that we're fetching from the server, because it is there, right? I'm just going to copy it over dot developer ID. Okay, let's try that again. We restart the server. Okay, update, select, update. There it is, right? It changed, right? And then it fetched it new from the server. So there you have it, right? We were able to implement all the various CRUD operations, right? On the server side, right? The the two gets, right? For the read operations, the create, the delete, and the update implementation. And those are basically the 4 or 5 CRUD operations that you would expect from any entity, right? And divvy it up this way. So you would do this for the pages, you would do this again for the widgets, for every single entity, right? Or every single relationship, right? You would implement such get, puts, and deletes, and posts. All right? Awesome.